Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's Thursday, and it's time for, of course, Your News Today. I am off. I need to preface the program as soon as I can get out of here to catch tonight's McGoffin County Board of Education meeting. Coverage of that and other headlines tomorrow on tonight's program. Coverage of this week's McGoffin County Fiscal Court meeting and a discussion with our Public Health Director about the end, by and large, of contact tracing by local and Kentucky health departments. Yes, those phone calls for most everyone will no longer be happening. He'll tell us why. I think perhaps more than one reason. We'll get to that in a few seconds. He will also go through some new guidelines, protocols, if you will, for schools as they're going to be discussed here in just a few moments in regards to quarantines, things of that nature, exposures, and the like. School closed, by the way, in McGoffin County tomorrow. It will be their 7th NTI day of the year, and of course they have only 10 in the bank at this time, and we'll see if that is extended or not. Regardless, it is number 7 tomorrow. Johnson County schools are closed as well. It's just going to be a good old-fashioned snow day tomorrow, so no work of any kind tomorrow in Johnson County schools. The snow is gone for now. The cold weather is not. We've seen temperatures today struggle to get to the mid-20s. Tomorrow we will hit the mid-30s, and then Sunday more sunshine, as we'll see on your Saturday. And we might even break the 40-degree mark on the latter half of your weekend, and maybe mid-40s. Monday, we're free from snow and rain chances until about Tuesday of next week, but I'll tell you more about that in just a few moments. I wish I could tell you more about the election, the May primary. Will it be in May? Well, that indeed is questionable, to put it mildly, at this hour. We've already seen the filing deadline extended from the first week of January to the 25th in regards to, of course, the redistricting, which has been discussed. Well, that discussion still goes on at this hour. After just within the last 24 hours, Kentucky's House and Senate have both said no, with the Republican-led or majority-led legislative bodies pretty much overriding, they did, Governor Beshear's vetoes of the bills that redrew those state House and congressional district maps. That is a conversation and a debate that is going to continue on for an unknown amount of time. The House actually overrode the veto of the map that had been drawn up for them. That was House Bill 2. I think all the Democrats voted no. One Republican voted no as well, because I think that Republican was actually in a district that had been put into another. The Senate, from what I understand, overrode their new congressional district map. That's called Senate Bill 3. And then they also overrode House Bill 2. Beshear, the governor, has for days now called this remapping, as it was completed, unconstitutional political gerrymandering. There is at least one lawsuit that has been threatened and filed, I think. It is on behalf of some people who live in Franklin County. They are joining the Kentucky Democratic Party as well. A statement from one of the members of that lawsuit says, quote, "The General Assembly's focus in creating these district maps wasn't representation or democracy or even legality. Their focus was on partisan politics, which is why they unnecessarily sliced up so many counties. Why else would a Franklin County resident be sorted with the same congressional district as someone from Paducah?" So there's a lawsuit that's been filed on their behalf, saying that these new maps violate not one but several parts of the state constitution. So in response to that lawsuit, at least one legislator has filed another bill. This one is number 323, I think, and it would, this is not happened yet, but should it be passed, it would delay the May primary by up to sometime in early August this year, of course. And then the deadline, the filing deadline, which we have seen extended to the 25th, would be moved up to the end of May. That is a bunch of ifs, a bunch of debates surrounding all of that, but that's where we are right now. Contact tracing is coming to an end by and large. There will be a small select group of people who will still get those phone calls from your local health department, but by and large, it's coming to an end. And I'll have our public health director explain that in just a moment.
SSI and disability cases are harder to win these days. You need all the help you can get. If the government has turned you down, I will not. Many factors are considered when a claim is being processed, like your age, education, physical, and mental disabling conditions. When it comes time to winning your disability case, you should not face a federal judge alone. You need an attorney who is experienced, determined, hardworking, knowledgeable, and dedicated to helping you win benefits that you deserve. If you need help with your SSI or disability case, call me, Donald Wayne McFarland, and let me go to work for you.
Appalachian Wireless has a plan to make your life simpler. Forward pay. No contract, no credit check, no problem. Plans start at just $19.99 a month and include unlimited talk and text. Add 3 gigabyte of data for only $29.99 a month. 6 gigabyte of data, $39.99. Or take it to the max with unlimited data plus, only $89.99, which has 50 gigabytes of high-speed data. All the features without the long-term commitment. It's forward pay because we are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
Parkway Pharmacy, as always, promises the quickest service with the very best care and prices, and to always have someone there to talk to when you have a question. With 3 pharmacists, curbside, drive-through, and call-ahead service. Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville, 349-4400.
Where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
Just like Christmas, it only happens one time of the year. And it's here, the annual half-off Christmas sale at the seasonal shop. That's right, everything in the store Christmas is half off, and everything clearance is marked down 70%. That's right, it only comes one time of year after Santa has come and gone. The annual half-off Christmas sale for a very limited time at the seasonal shop in downtown Sagersville. McGoffin County last week, we believe, set a record for a total number of cases, averaging 30 a day or so. We've averaged pretty much that this week. I think 37 reported on Tuesday, 31 yesterday, another 32 cases reported out today of COVID by the McGoffin County Health Department. So canceling contact tracing is not being done as a result of the cases dwindling. It's, well, largely a result of the opposite, and the fact that we're 2 years into this and the state is going to take the burden off of our local health departments. The Public Health Commissioner, Dr. Stack, advised health department directors, including our own, Pete Shepard, of that earlier today.
I think the main reason we're doing with contact tracing, there's 2 reasons. One is we've been doing it for 2 years, and everybody's been doing a good job of it. But at this time, everybody knows what's going on with the virus, what the regulations are if you're positive, if you've been vaccinated, and all that. So they found that it's not worth our time to have to contact every single individual now, especially with all the individuals that's getting it this new viral strand. So they've decided to take the health departments and let us basically go on our own and contact the people we want to, but almost all the health departments have decided to basically, if an individual tests positive at a doctor's office or facility, whatever, that individual will can look at the guidelines and quarantine and isolate themselves. And so it's going to take a lot of manpower hours off the health department, and also it's the virus is here. It looks like it's going to stay up and down probably for a long time. So it's kind of not wasting our time, but it's taking up a lot of times that health departments have to do other business, and we've kind of neglected that for a year or so, and we need to get back to kind of some type of normalcy, even though this virus is it's a terrible thing, but we're going to have to get back to some type of normal life with it.
Are there some instances where you will continue tracing?
Yes, we've talked with the school, with Mr. Meadows, and what we're going to do is we're going to do contact tracing is being reduced to only school-age children and long-term care and nursing homes. That's our several nursing home here. That'll be the only one that we will still contact them. The new rules is if a student tests positive, they must isolate 5 days and have no symptoms before returning to school on day 6. If they continue to have symptoms after day 6, they must continue to isolate until some symptoms are resolved. I'm just going to kind of go over these a little bit so everybody will know that with the schools, this is the rules and the regulations we're going to do with the McGoffin County school system. If you have any student, staff, or any other contact that is unvaccinated and has had an exposure to someone who is test positive, they must quarantine for 5 days. Test negative on day 5 and have no symptoms before returning to school on day 6. If you have a positive home test or test at a facility that does not discuss your results with you, please call us at the health department. We will help you determine your isolation dates. We are still going to coordinate with the schools to ensure that positive kids and contacts are reported to the school system. Our priority is to keep kids in school. That's the main thing that our health department and Mr. Meadows and the school system, that's the main thing we want to do is keep kids in school. We need everyone to be responsible and work with us to do so. We are posting the newest COVID guidelines on our health department Facebook page, again, for those who need it. As always, you feel free to call us anytime anybody has information, any questions about what they're supposed to be isolated or quarantined. We'll be happy to answer their questions. And that's at 349-6212. So basically, we're going to try to contact everybody with the kids, make sure that all the kids in school stay safe, and all the parents. Now, the one thing I want to say, if you have a child that is positive at school, do not send the other kids to school. If you have other kids in the household, they must isolate too. So if you have somebody in the household that is positive, do not send any of the kids to school. The whole household has to stay at home. They wanted me to kind of throw that in there because some of them have sent some. But it's going to be a change. But anybody, like I say, that tests positive, you need to do your isolation according to where you've been vaccinated, unvaccinated. There's guidelines for all that. And like I say, it's on our Facebook page. If you have a question, just call us. But we've got to move on a little bit now and continue with dealing with this virus, but also dealing with the safety of our individuals and our kids, and make sure that other duties that the health department has to do, that we can do those too now. So I know it's going to be a change, but like I say, if you test positive at a doctor's office or at a home kit, there's the rules and regulations are the same. And if you have a question, just call us.
Would you say that there's a part of the reason that the state's made this decision is based on the fact that you just can't do it, you just can't keep up, and at the same time, would you have considered the last 2 years of contact tracing just overwhelming for health departments like ours?
For ours, it is. I know some of the health departments, there was money out there to hire private firms to come in and do the contact tracing. We decided not to do that just because of who we are. We're McGoffin County, but some of the health departments, the larger ones, had contracted with some businesses that excel in that, but that money has been gone now, and now their staff is like our staff is being inundated with all these cases, especially with this new virus that's out now. We got double the numbers, and so it's come down to a money thing with the federal government, state, and it's come down with a numbers thing with us. So we'd love to. You don't know how difficult it is because my staff works 7 days a week on this. We come in on Saturdays, Sundays, holidays, and we contact people 24/7. I mean, it's a couple of my nurses, their phones never quit ringing, and it's been like that for 2 years. And I have to commend my staff for being as diligent and as patient with me, asking them to do this. But it's time to move on. And like I say, everybody knows what the virus is. They know the rules and regulations they're going to need to follow with the quarantines. And that's what we're going to, basically the health department's going to do, emphasize the long-term care facilities, our health nursing home, and our school system. And everybody else can get the same treatment. If they need help, just call us.
Real quickly, I just want to touch on vaccines. I read data every day, either on the news or just on my own accord, that still supports the not notion, but the fact that Omicron is different. Yes, highly more contagious. Yes, the vaccines and the boosters do not prevent you from getting it as well, and in a lot of cases at all, from the other. But there's no argument that on a scientific basis, from anything I can read, that they most certainly keep you from getting sick. We're still seeing the majority, 70, 80, 90% of the people who are getting really sick and dying are largely unvaccinated. So what's the vaccine status at the McGoffin County Health Department?
We're still vaccinating on Tuesday. You can call and get the vaccine. We're still doing boosters because we still have some people that was needing the booster. But we'll keep asking people to get vaccinated. As we all know and been told with the science, until everybody's vaccinated, we're never going to get rid of it. It's just going to be a 90-day and then a rollover, and people are going to continue to get it as long as the virus keeps mutating and what it's doing. So yes, it's frustrating in a way because the way we eradicated a lot of the diseases was everybody was vaccinated. So, and we got about half the people in McGoffin County vaccinated now. So we keep getting it. The good thing about the Omicron is it is not as potent, but it is potent if you've not been vaccinated. We've had, I think they said 90% of the deaths are people that's not been vaccinated. 90% of the people hospitalized have not been vaccinated. But most people, most of the whole part, if you've been vaccinated, you're going to get a headache, you're going to get some symptoms, and you're going to get to stay at home. And that's the great thing about vaccinations. And they're not, they're not to prevent you; they're to prevent you from dying, prevent you getting seriously ill. So, get your vaccine if and then, we've preached this, talked about it for 2 years now, about masks and all that. It all adds up. If you do the right things, most in part you'll not get seriously ill, and you'll not have family members that perish from this Omicron and the new mutants that's going to come out. And they're going to, as long as people don't vaccinate, we're going to get the virus is going to mutate, and that's just a proven scientific fact. So I think the line's been drawn. The people who's going to vaccinate is, and the ones that's not. But we're going to continue to get people sick, and people's going to continue dying from this virus because it's going to mutate again, and depending on what happens with it, it'll be more serious or less serious than this one. So just something to look forward, not to look forward to in the future. I guess it's sad, but we've had too many friends and neighbors that die from the COVID. Some have been vaccinated, but mostly not. And it's sad to see about once a week or every 2 weeks we see somebody from McGoffin County that succumbs to the virus. And so it's preventable, but it's here, and that's we got to deal with the consequences. So.
Now, coverage of this week's McGoffin County Fiscal Court meeting. I'll focus on a couple of discussions therein. First, prior to approving monthly fund transfers from the general fund to the jail fund, $40,000 this month, which is about a safe average, McGoffin County Judge Executive Matt Wireman explained that current state budget proposals could equal or relate to, transition into, increased salaries for employees at the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center, and at the same time, possibly lower rates for the 4 participating counties, including McGoffin.
I will say that the jail board has contacted me, and they're going to be in discussions about potential salary increases for their staff over there. But if the current state budget holds, which includes I think both versions maybe include a $3 or $4 increase in the state inmates, they're going to turn around and try to give that back to us so that we pay a lesser amount per prisoner. The raise, if you happen to see that in the news, that doesn't have any bearing on what we're paying per prisoner. And hopefully with the state prisoners, if that rate goes up, that'll give them additional revenue that'll cover all this, but all that's pending the state budget going through.
How much is it per prisoner now?
I think it's like 31, 35,
Yeah.
31 something that we're paying, the state pays too. And we were paying 27 or 28. And we paid as low as 20, I think, but it's been up and down. Some of this is health insurance that kills us. We have to pay that every month.
In other matters, while the official dedication won't take place until after the thaw, sometime in spring, our local Chapter 15 DAV Commander Lloyd Salyer was before the fiscal court last night to honor Private First Class Ernie LeMaster with the latest of monthly recognitions of the contributions and sacrifices of our local soldiers.
And whereas Ernie LeMaster was born January the 18th, 1923 in McGoffin County, and whereas Private Ernie LeMaster enlisted in the United States Army on July 19th, 1940. After his basic training, he was assigned to the Philippine Islands. Private First Class was served with the 19th Ordnance and the 17th Ordnance. Private First Class LeMaster survived the attack on Clark Airfield just 10 hours rather after the attack to Pearl Harbor. Private First Class Ernie LeMaster was in the Battle of Luzon and the Battle of Bataan. On the Battle of Bataan, he was captured by the Japanese on April 9, 1942. Private First Class was part of the Death March and started in Morelos at the southern tip of Bataan Prisoners of war past Japanese artillery firing on Corregidor and American artillery returning fire. Private First Class Ernie Lemaster was killed in action, whereas Private First Class Ernie Lemaster was awarded the Prisoner of War Medal, World War II Defense Medal, Good Conduct Medal, American Defense Service Medal, World War II Victory Medal, Purple Heart, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, World War II Bronze Star, and the Presidential Unit Citation and the Combat Infantry Badge. Whereas Private First Class Ernie Lemaster served honorable in the United States Army in World War II, Private First Class Ernie Lemaster lays in peaceful sleep in the hands of the Supreme Commander at the Green Adams Cemetery in McGoffin County, Kentucky. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that Kentucky Route 1415 from mile point 0.00 to mile point 1.267 be forever known as Private First Class Ernie Lemaster Memorial Road.
Moving on, in other business, Judge Wireman informed everyone that the fiscal court is still waiting on approval from the Department of Local Government to proceed with the planned parks improvements outlined in last month's meeting, including major renovations at the Ramey Park. In discussion of water projects to extend water service to residents in 542 in the areas of 542, 1502, and 378. The governor, as of course we have told you here in the Independent, awarding the county over $300,000, with the county applying for the other $1 million that they need to complete those projects. They're waiting to hear back, with fingers crossed, I am sure. Some other things the county is said to be working on: updating all radios and towers from analog to digital for all McGoffin County first responders, EMS, law enforcement, and the like. It's going to be about a $300,000 job from start to finish. And with the state's assistance monetarily, the county is trying to purchase new voting machines, about a dozen or so, at about $11,000 apiece before the May primary. COVID numbers in a minute. Right now, tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau Community Calendar. First, a quick reminder that commodities through the McGoffin County Senior Citizen Center have been rescheduled for next Thursday due to, of course, one snowstorm after another this week. Next Thursday, the 27th, I'll remind you when it gets a bit closer next week. Let's move on to a couple of opportunities, several actually. First off, Job Corps is having a job fair on the 26th at 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon at the KCC in Prestonsburg. That is 10 till 3. As well, the Kentucky Department of Corrections is hosting 2 job fairs on the 27th. One is at the KCC in Prestonsburg. The other is at the Pike County Public Library on Lee Avenue in Pikeville. And whether you can weld or not, Appalachian Platinum Tank is looking for people interested in training and working with them. Some welding experience is preferred, but not required. There's a deadline to apply for this round of recruits, and it is the end of the month, January the 31st. More opportunities are coming, they say, but you can get an application at tinyurl.com/welding application there on your screen. And CNC robotics training is coming up at eCammy in Paintsville on February the 4th. Applications there are available at ekcep.org/eCammy2022. No need to apply to the community calendar. Just forward that information, birthdays and anniversaries to me, and we'll tell everyone about them. And glad to do it. And remember, birthdays, birth announcements, and anniversaries will be printed for free in the Sagersville Independent if you send those to Heather at SagersvilleIndependent.com. Funeral services brought to you nightly by our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. 2 reminders tonight. First, that services will begin in the morning at 11 for 76-year-old Pauline Cavins, who passed away on the 15th, survived by her kids, Keith and Kenneth Cavins and Shante Wireman, 4 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. She was preceded in death by her parents, Steve and Alice Pinks, and her husband, James Odell Cavins. Services again start Saturday morning at 11. Visitation will be tomorrow evening from 6 to 9, all from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And services will begin Sunday morning at 11 for Jewel Arnett Pennington, who passed away on the 18th at the Pikeville Medical Center. Survived by her husband, Marcus Pennington, her daughter, Sheila Patrick, son, Randy Ty Pennington, and a granddaughter, Amanda Blake Salyers, and a great-granddaughter, and a host of family and friends. She's preceded in death by a son, Davy, and Three Brothers. Services start again Sunday at 11 in the morning from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Visitation will be Saturday evening starting at 6. Call the pros. All Pro Gutter Works specializes in seamless gutters, vinyl siding, metal roofing, replacement doors and windows, remodeling or adding on to your home with free and fair estimates backed by decades of happy and return customers with guaranteed satisfaction and 18 months 0% financing. All Pro Gutter Works. 349-9999. Not everything has changed over the years. Frazier's Prater Drugstore is still your most trusted pharmacy, where you can get your prescription brought to you curbside or make your way to the counter for a snack, lunch, or an incredibly sweet treat. And check out Strings and Things inside the shack, the Radio Shack, musical instruments, guns, ammo, electronics, and more. It's as wonderfully unique of a shopping experience as is the selection at Frazier's Prater Drugstore in downtown Salyersville. Whether the new year brings you new dreams or you're working towards the same ones, let Salyersville National Bank help you build, bank, or save for them. Salyersville National has been helping dreams come true since 1902. Give them a call at the main location, 349-3131, or the branch, 6121. Do you really want to get caught in this again on those tires? Get there in one piece and save. Conley Tire's got specials going on right now through the end of March, like $100, even $200 back on a set of Goodyears. And get those tires, brakes, service, whatever you need with 6 months no-interest financing. Conley Tire in Staffordsville or conleytire.net. I referred to McGoffin County's COVID numbers a few moments ago. We'll rehash those again real quickly and then take a look at those from around the Commonwealth. 13,614 new cases confirmed today, and another 20 Kentuckians who have reportedly died as a result, at least in some part due to the coronavirus. Our positivity rating, I believe this is another record at 31.37%. Vaccinated individuals still total a little more than 2.8 million. While in McGoffin County's numbers, as I referred to earlier, we had, just to recap the week real quickly, Saturday there were 20 reported, Sunday 0, 14 Monday, and then the last 3 days have been over 30. 37 on Tuesday, 31 on Wednesday, Thursday, 32. I think I said earlier, McGoffin County had a record-setting week last week, averaging 30 cases. That was not an average of 30 every day. I misspoke there. Many days being over 30, but the average was, we were, I think, 187 cases for the week, I believe, so it had been less than 30 per day, just to make sure I clarify. As for the state incident rate map, everyone's in the red, and just about everyone, not everyone, but just about everyone is at 100 or higher. Those numbers continue to climb for most counties. McGoffin County has climbed to 157.4. Johnson County was just under 100 yesterday, and right now is knocking on the door of 110. Floyd County, 164.6. Martin, 145. And you'll see some counties there, if you look, are in the 200s, 300s, and knocking on the door of 400s for their incident rate as a whole. My editor, Heather Oney, forwarded me a post earlier today that had been made by the Harlan County Health Department. It said that they were looking into more than 200 cases of COVID that at that point had not been reported out publicly, but in their investigation and a part of, I guess, contact tracing, which will no longer exist, they had been able to at least partially determine that they believe that there have been 2 events that were largely responsible for a number of those cases, 200 of those cases. Recent high school basketball games that they are calling a super spreader event or events for the 2. A number of games, I think it was on the 11th when Harlan played Barberville, and then Harlan Independent versus the Harlan County boys and girls basketball games that took place on the 15th of this month, just a couple of days ago. So they are asking everyone who attended those games to monitor themselves for COVID symptoms, believing that close contact with unmasked individuals that otherwise may have related in about 200 cases. I am off in just a few moments to the McGoffin County Board of Education meeting. I'll have a report on that tomorrow. Get you caught up on high school basketball for the Hornets. The boys last night were on the road at Martin County. They fell short on this one by 7. 60-67 was the final score. They were to be on the road tonight at Jackson. Weather canceled that one. And then they are next in action here at home. Tomorrow night, the boys will host Eastridge. So Friday night high school basketball game set for tomorrow. And as for the girls, they last played on last Saturday the 15th. I covered that, a win over Eastridge, and they are to host Paintsville tomorrow night at 7:30, and then hosting Phelps this weekend, Saturday night at 7:30 as well. Here is your Licking Valley RACC outlook, which is looking pretty cold, as we've known, for the next couple of days, but warming by the end of your weekend and early next week.
Yes, Arctic air has us firmly in its grasp. Tonight's low will knock off 10 degrees from last night's, and there's a wind chill to be considered. 12 degrees is where we should actually be on your thermometer, but if we have a wind out of the northeast, just enough to really put wind chills down into the low single digits at around 4 degrees tonight. Not a night to be out. Roads have become slick they didn't really become not slick today. We know the conditions of all the side roads. A lot of folks know the black ice situation this morning. A lot of frozen spots because temperatures are just that low. That will be the case again in the morning. So please, if you're traveling to and from work or anywhere for that matter, do so with a little extra caution until springtime, I guess. 4 degrees for the wind chill tonight and 12 for the low. 24 degrees for your daytime high tomorrow, and a wind chill of around 3 degrees as northeasterly winds will pick up just a bit. So even though we hit 24, there will be times it will feel like it's closer to zero, especially tomorrow night when it will actually be closer to zero. Down into the single digits, we will plummet to about 7 degrees. Good news is no winds tomorrow night, so 7 is about what it's going to feel like. But another brutal night ahead. Arctic air eases up the grips just a bit for the weekend. Saturday, 36 and sunny. Good news is we're out of the snow and shower chances for at least a few days. Sunday, 40 and mostly sunny. And then the first of next week as well, 44, mostly sunny, still dry. And then that's where it stops or starts to change. 41, more clouds than not on your Tuesday, and a 50% chance of rain and snow. And then temperatures fall from there back down into the low 30s for Wednesday and Thursday this time next week, with some rain and snow chances starting to work their way back into the picture. So we have a number of calm days all the way through Monday staring at us, even though a few of them, including tomorrow and your Saturday, are going to be quite brutal temperature-wise. We're out of the snowfall, at least for a little while. Even snow lovers are starting to rejoice, I think.
All right, I'm off to the Board of Education meeting. I'll see you with that and much more, wrapping up this week of programming tomorrow night. Thank you. Stay warm, stay safe, and see you then.